Good morning, you're listening to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning my guest is Santo Torcivia with Market Insights, an economist that tracks the flooring business and has for many years. Santo, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Kemp. How are you?
I'm good. I thought it'd be good here as year is ending to take a look at what 19 might bring to us in the flooring business. So what's your outlook?
We're looking for 2019 to be a pretty good year. 2018 is ending up to be a fine year, and I think 2019 will end the same way. Although 2019 does have some major question marks surrounding the tariffs and what's going to happen with the tariffs and how companies will react to the tariffs. But all in all, I think the economy is going to be very positive. All the signs indicate that we're heading that way. Stock market notwithstanding.
I was going to say, because if you want to get your stomach upset and you want to turn on the news, they're talking about the stock market being the worst it's been in ages. So you think that's just going to be short term?
Well, I think I've looked at this over time, and the last major recession back in 2008, 2009, the stock market collapsed 21%. Well, in the following year, consumer consumption only went down 1.3%. So right now we're looking at a 12% decline. So generally speaking, the stock market won't affect consumer spending in the near term. It only affects retirement, people's thoughts about their own wealth and retirement capabilities, things like that. But their day-to-day income and the average American's day-to-day spending doesn't usually change that much.
Actually, if you look at just a couple of indicators, the consumer sentiment for December was up 0.8%, which takes it almost to 100. That's the best for the whole year of 18 that we've seen since 2000. And retail sales around this Christmas time, the estimate is that they're going to be up 4.5%. So there's a couple of good indicators there, right?
Yeah, without getting too far into the weeds, stock ownership for individual stocks by individual Americans is only like about 10%. People own stocks through mutual funds and pension funds and things like that, and they're not following individual stocks. They're following Vanguard and Fidelity and people like that. So, and that's a long-term outlook.
Yeah, one thing that I read in the paper this morning, the Wall Street, was talking about how the stock market today is all been programmed, and a lot of the reaction we're seeing is based on models that have been built. So it's not a direct reflection on what's going on, is it?
No, it's not. These trading models and things like that all kick in and sometimes exacerbate the situation. So I'm not all that concerned about the stock market, but in the long term, it always comes back. So.
Well, one of the things I'd like to take a look real quick, you published a report early December, your Market Monitor report, and in there you've got by category sales of flooring products, and you've got carpet and rug basically flat. You've got hardwood flooring down a little bit, almost 1.5%. You got ceramic tile around 2% growth. You got resilient flooring, which includes LVT, up to almost 20%. And then laminate flooring you got down about 3%. So what's your call for 19?
The big leader and the big mover is LVT. And there's where the question marks reside. We're looking based on current situation at LVT going up in the mid-teens, so around 16%. But a lot of that is predicated on what happens or what won't happen with tariffs. And if the government moves to step 2 to the 25% tariffs, that could change what happens with LVT. The other big question mark in my mind is, what will companies do? Will they opt to raise their prices and to reap margin, or will they hold their prices or moderate their prices to gain share? And there's a big difference in that reaction in terms of how it is going to affect the growth of LVT. Like right now, we're looking at 16% for LVT, and basically the same trends for the other products, where you're seeing wood down slightly, ceramic up slightly, laminate flat, and carpet may rise in dollars but fall in units. The price increases in carpet seem to be holding, and there you're seeing companies go for margin and mix shift. So overall, I think we're going to see another 3% growth year.
Okay, 3% overall. One of the things that might happen is if the LVT gets to where it's maybe $1 more, it makes ceramic and hardwood a little bit more attractive, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And then they will pick up their growth rates, and LVT will diminish somewhat. But like I said, it all depends on what happens. I studied what happened with the steel tariffs several years ago, and there the companies went for gaining margin, and they all raised their prices. But that was a little different situation because it's not a consumer product. It's a product that's used in other things that isn't really substitutable. But we'll see. I'm anxious to see how companies react in the first quarter, and that'll maybe be a tell for what's going to happen the rest of the year.
Do you think maybe Washington might be going into a situation with the House swinging over to the left where they don't get as much done?
That's a possibility, and I'm a Jeffersonian when it comes to the government that governs least governs best.
So that might be good, huh?
Yeah, I think so. The thing we have to watch out for, though, is the profligate spending that's going on, which is causing the Fed, these huge deficits are causing the Fed to raise interest rates. And we're not getting the productivity gains that offset that. And so interest rates are rising, which makes housing less affordable, and there's a domino effect with that.
Well, actually, though, right now the 30-year mortgage is still under 5%. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Santo. Well, I appreciate you spending time with us and telling our listeners a little bit about what 2019 might look like. Again, been talking to Santo Torcivia, an economist that studies the flooring business with market insights, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.